Now at 10, residents in Pittsburgh work to revitalize the local farmers market. Plus, we'll take a look at the Miners Hall Museum's newest exhibit, and Missouri Southern students get a look into all the group's campus has to offer.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Anthony Saviello. Community and board members gathered at Lincoln Center in Pittsburgh to discuss the future of the city's farmers market. KOAM's Mitch Adams has more.
I started 2 weeks ago, and I immediately wanted to get people together to give their input because, they make up the market, not the city.
The future of the Pittsburgh Farmers Market was discussed during a meeting at Lincoln Center in Pittsburgh. Keller Irwin, the newly appointed manager of the Farmers Market, told us about his history with the market and why it's important for the city.
The first time I worked the market, just as a cover, I wasn't too enthusiastic. But then I got there and realized just kind of the community that's behind it. And I think that plays a large part. It's a place for people to come and talk and meet people and make friends, have some nice music, and then also pick up products where you can't get at, Walmart's, where our, homegrown, homemade, stuff made with love. So
some of the topics discussed at the meeting were sponsorships, grant funding, marketing strategies, and ways to keep customers and vendors alike happy. Irwin also explained his reasoning for undertaking responsibility for the farmers market and its processes.
Just the community aspect of it. I've lived here my whole life. I'll be here until I graduate at least. And I've been working at Parks and Rec for customer service for over a year, and just, had seen kind of some failures in the market, and the opportunity to come in here and when you go there on a Saturday morning, you see the ton of smiling faces and people enjoying the products that they find. And, it's really a great time.
According to the board, the main goal is to revitalize the market, bring in new customers, and build relationships with local businesses. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
This farmers market season will last until late October, occurring every Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon. We'll check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney for a first look at weather.
Temperatures really cooling down now behind those rain showers. Northern counties are in the low 70s, while still the southern counties in the upper 70s, even in the 80s, 81 in Veneta, 80 in Nowata, 74 in Joplin, and then 71 Yates Center, Iola. So we're definitely cooler up in those northern counties, and winds are going to start to shift after the rain leaves our area. We haven't gotten a ton of accumulated rainfall yet, but we're still waiting for that next round of showers and thunderstorms to be pushing into those northern counties, which is going to happen within the next 30 minutes to an hour. And then we're going to get rain chances for the rest of the overnight hours and even early into the morning on Monday. After that, temperatures drop nearly 10 degrees for the next couple of days. I'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. The Miners Hall Museum in Franklin today has a new exhibit. The exhibit, which is titled Game Day, focuses on old games but people in the 50s and 60s played. Some games include Chinese checkers, card games, and Monopoly. Guests were also presented with the history of the games as well.
When we were putting together the list of games that we thought about playing, kind of revisiting, I remember that, and we even as adults don't often take time to play those games with our kids and grandkids. So
there were originally supposed to be outdoor games as well, but those were canceled due to high temperatures. Incoming students to Missouri Southern State University were able to pick what organizations they wanted to join. The Campus Craze event allowed students to choose between 50 different campus organizations, ranging from Greek life, pottery, esports, and more.
I think it's so important for students to kind of find a place where they can belong. It just makes their college experience that much more meaningful, whether they're from around the area or came from states away to live in our dorms. Finding a club or organization is just going to impact their college experience, and I just love seeing students have fun and make those good connections.
MSSAU has found that students who participate in their clubs are more likely to graduate. Family, friends, and colleagues are continuing to pray for the recovery of a police officer critically injured during a protest last week in Ferguson, Missouri. Mulaney Johnson spoke with the officer's sister about the outpouring of support her brother is receiving from the community.
When he wakes up, I want him to know and see all the support from the community, know that he's loved, his family and friends, so that we've been by his side.
For Christina Bailey, the anticipation of her younger brother.
An amazing son, brother, and of course, father to his 2 daughters.
Travis T.J. Brown, opening his eyes, comes with the love of seeing him blossom from a boy to a man.
Just as a kid, he's always been really happy. That smile you hear everybody talking about, he's had that same smile since he's been a boy.
She, along with his mother and siblings, have been by the Ferguson police officer's side around the clock after he was hurt during a protest Friday. This week, he underwent surgeries to address the swelling on his brain. How's he doing now?
Yeah, I mean, he's still in critical condition, but things are progressing. We're hoping and praying, or we're believing that he will wake up this weekend.
The recovery expected to be a long one, but his circle is faithful that his smile will return again, along with TJ's dance moves.
He's just a person of empathy. He knows how to connect with people very well. He's just a fun, loving person. I don't know anyone who has met him that does not love him.
And to see the community he pours so much into pour back into him with their hearts, hands, hopes, and prayers for a life dedicated to service.
I don't know if we could make it without the support of the community. The outpouring of love and support has been, it's just been amazing. He loves what he does, and we're proud of him, and we just want him to get better.
Police say Officer Brown was injured during a protest that marked 10 years since the police-involved shooting of Michael Brown. Investigators say the protest was mostly peaceful, but a small group of demonstrators tried to tear down a fence near a police station. When officers moved in to make arrests, one demonstrator allegedly charged at Officer Brown and knocked him to the ground. He suffered a serious brain injury that has left him in critical condition. Coming up, why people in the United States live shorter than people in other countries. Plus, a sneak peek into this year's Democratic National Convention. A study published in British medical journal Open says Americans have shorter life expectancies than in Canada, Ireland, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Men lived to 76.5 years as of 2019, and women were living to 81.5 years. The study says America's younger people die at higher rates from preventable causes like car accidents and drug overdoses, while our midlife death rates were high from drug and alcohol and cardiovascular diseases. Australians had the best English-speaking life expectancy, and Canada was second. The FDA poised to sign off on updated COVID-19 vaccines as soon as next week. That's according to 2 sources familiar with the matter. If that happens, it would bring a new shot to the market earlier than last year's update. The U.S. deals with the largest uptick in summer COVID infections in the past 2 years. Hospitalizations and deaths are also up. Both Pfizer and Moderna say their vaccine should be available to people days after FDA signs off on them. Novavax vaccine will take a little longer because it's based on a different technology. Consumer reports say saving money going farther and better driving can come by following some smart gas tips. Consumer Reports says drivers should look for places with top-tier gas. It's a higher quality gas at all grades and is engine valves in the long run. Many places like Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, Shell, and Costco voluntarily agree to carry it. Also, always keep your gas tank half full in cases of congestion, and check prices online. Sites like Gas Buddy show local prices for comparison, and stations well away from major roads tend to have better prices. Purdue Foods recalled about 165,000 pounds of 22-ounce Purdue Simply Smart Organics breaded chicken breast nuggets and Purdue chicken breast tenders, and 29-ounce Butcher Box organic chicken breast nuggets. The frozen products could have foreign material inside, specifically metal. All products have best if used by March 25th, 2025 dates. Consumers are urged not to consume the products and return them to places of purchase. A little later, Monday will bring us a rare astronomical sight.
And we're in the forecast. We're having cooler temperatures. Talk more about that right after this. Well, we're getting cooler temperatures for the next couple days, but right before those temperatures start to cool down, we're seeing a few more rain showers pushing in. Taking a look outside Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, rain hasn't moved in quite yet out in Seneca, Missouri, but you do see a few more showers starting to push south of Kansas City. We did have a couple of rain chances earlier in the day, but those storms really didn't fire up until after they moved out of Bentonville, Arkansas, and now you can see them shifting south of Little Rock, still having some severe thunderstorm tags on them. In our area, we're mostly clear. We even had a little bit of a break between the clouds before more moved in. And we're seeing those rain showers starting to push in the next 30 minutes to an hour. Along those rain showers is a cold front that's going to drop these temperatures from our minor risk that we saw today to a little to no heat risk for our northeast counties, and that expands into Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be our coolest day on the forecast. We're seeing those high temperatures of only getting up to mid 80s, about 85 out in Joplin and surrounding counties. And then we move into Wednesday, where we're starting to see the little to no risk shrink a little bit, and those temperatures are going to start to warm right back up. But like I said, until then, we're going to see rain chances kicking off overnight hours and dropping off about 11 a.m. to noon tomorrow. So until then, we're going to look at that future track and see those rain showers starting to push in. As of right now, we're seeing more bands moving into the area, and if they do continue to move in this form, those bands could cause some issues for localized flooding if the rain showers just continue to move across the same cities and the same areas. Still have maybe a couple chances of some isolated thunderstorms in those far southern counties out near Bella Vista, Seneca, Missouri. Those are going to fire up, but mostly going to shift south out of our area before we really see a severe threat. But we are seeing all the rain showers moving into Nevada, Fort Scott, Parsons, Pittsburgh, and Joplin continuing to move. This is going to be about 9:30 in the morning, so most of the widespread rain has shrunk just to near Parsons, Pittsburgh, Joplin, and east, and then it's going to continue to shift southeast before completely clearing out about 12 to 12:30. Then we're in line for a pretty cool day. Temperatures only getting up to mid 80s to upper 80s across the region. Forecasted high on Monday is about 87, Tuesday 85, and Wednesday 87 again. Those overnight lows are dropping down to the lower 60s all the way through Friday, when we start to see temperatures warm right back up to average and even a bit above average as we move into the weekend. Temperatures do remain, low temperatures do remain in the upper 60s for the rest of the week, which is about average. We are getting into closer to the fall season, so we're going to start to see these temperatures slowly start to decline, which I'm looking forward to.
I think we're all big fans of that. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean,
do you think there's anyone who's like 100-degree weather, just like, yes?
If there is,
more power to them.
You know, shout out, let us know, because I would love to meet that person.
Yeah.
That person is crazy. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
Thanks, Lindsay. Well, ahead of the Democratic National Convention, new polls have Vice President Kamala Harris holding a narrow lead over former President Donald Trump. CNN averaged the numbers from two new polls, CBS YouGov and ABC, Washington Post and Ipsos, and found that Harris carried 50% support to Trump's 48%. The polls also signaled that most registered voters, 64%, say they understand what Harris stands for. 86% said they know what Trump's agenda is. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is trying to get his name on more state ballots for the fall election. His campaign submitted signatures to gain ballot access in 3 more states. They include Arizona, Alabama, and Montana. The campaign announced Friday it submitted 110,000 signatures to election officials in Arizona. Independent candidates need just 42,000 to qualify in the state. Kennedy is currently on the ballot in 19 states. The Democratic National Convention kicks off Monday in Chicago, and Vice President Kamala Harris hopes to capitalize on her momentum her campaign has achieved since becoming the nominee. President Joe Biden is slated to appear the first night, where he is expected to pass the torch to Harris and mark an end to his 50-plus years in politics. Rob Kirkpatrick has more.
All eyes are on Chicago as the city prepares to host the Democratic National Convention in less than 24 hours.
We are ready for this convention. In fact, the city of Chicago, as you know, has hosted the most conventions in our country's history because it turns out we're actually really good at this.
The first night will be centered on President Joe Biden and giving him a hero send-off as he closes out 50-plus years in politics.
This is a man who's accomplished more in 3.5 years than most presidents get done in 8. So we're going to see a celebration of him.
The presidential campaign changed drastically when Biden announced he would not seek re-election and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris to be the nominee, which galvanized Democrats.
Kamala Harris has brought the party together with Tim Walz. I think that collection, that pair, it has turned this place into, well, frankly, it'll be like a rock concert. I think people are going to be cheering and pretty excited.
Each night of the convention will have a different theme, with star-studded speakers including former presidents and first ladies, Barack and Michelle Obama, and Bill and Hillary Clinton. Meantime, the latest CNN poll of polls shows Harris with a narrow lead over former President Donald Trump, 50% to 48%. And the vice president and her running mate, Governor Tim Walz, are not slowing down. They're doing a bus tour through the battleground state of Pennsylvania Sunday before heading to Chicago. I'm Rob Kirkpatrick reporting.
Coming up in sports, the Royals and Cardinals battle for playoff position. Plus, Carthage softball is geared up for another big season. Brock Baldrige will have that story and more up next.
The Carthage Tigers are equipped for another big season in softball. Carthage returns a good chunk of their starting lineup. This year's Carthage team looks to keep their trend of recent success. Carthage finished the last season with an 18-16 overall record. This year's group returns 6 seniors who've worked in the program under head coach Stephanie Ray. The Tigers have never won a district title in school history. It's something that Coach Ray says her girls have been talking about all offseason.
Every year we're coming in, we're competing for a conference title. We're in a pretty tough conference, and at the end of the year we want to win that first ever district title. Carthage has never won one, and our girls continually talk about it. And we talk about not being our best now, but continue to get better every day.
So for a while we've been wanting to chase a district title, and last year we came pretty close. We lost semifinals 1-0. So hopefully we can come back, bounce back, and hopefully get that district title. That's one of the main goals that we've had forever.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2 so far in the preseason, and well, the good news is the games don't count. Head coach Andy Reid and quarterback Patrick Mahomes spoke to the media after Saturday's game to talk about some of the positive results.
So there were some good things early, and then periodically as it went on, we've got to make sure we do a little better job blocking and tackling both sides of the ball on with the 2s and the 3s. So there were some good things in there. It was great to get some of these guys some reps that we're looking at. It'll be good for Brett and the personnel staff to see and evaluate.
Obviously, you want to score touchdowns. I thought we did good drives, kind of stalled out there in the red zone. But hopefully, when you game plan a little bit, you can get those ones into the end zone. And it was good to see Carson hit him on that route. And that route wasn't necessarily called for Xavier. It was just kind of an alert and versus that coverage, and it worked out perfectly.
Well, the St. Louis Cardinals are fighting to keep up the pace in the National League wildcard standings. St. Louis snapped a 5-game losing streak on Saturday as they look to avoid losing yet another series. Cardinals versus the LA Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw gets the start for LA. The left-hand pitcher was tough to hit as he's been his entire career. Kershaw still has something left in the tank. The 36-year-old pitches 6 scoreless innings with 2 strikeouts on Sunday. So to the 5th inning now, the highest paid man in baseball is at the plate. Shohei Ohtani rips one into the Cardinals bullpen, and that breaks the scoreless tie. Solo homer puts the Dodgers up in front 1-0. LA leads 2-0 in the 8th inning. Lars Nootbaar gets this one deep into the right field bullpen, and that's gone for his 8th homer of the season. Solo bomb cuts the lead in half. It's now 2-1 game. We head to the 9th inning now. Game-winning run at the plate, but Nolan Arenado grounds out to a routine 6-4-3 double play, just what the Dodgers needed. Cardinals lose a close one, 2-1, the final score. Over in Cincinnati, the Royals look to go for the sweep, but this game had a 45-minute weather delay in the 2nd inning. So after the rain clears out, here we are in the 3rd, as Vinny Pasquantino hits an RBI single to put the Royals ahead. Kansas City leads 1-0, so we go to the 5th inning now. How about Dyrone Blanco hammers away his 3rd home run in the last 24 hours. His solo home run extends the Royals' lead 3-0. So we go to the 7th inning now. Kansas City up 4-1. Bases are low for the Reds. Lucas Erceg picks up 2 crucial strikeouts to get out of the jam. And well, if you don't hack, they'll send you back. Royals sweep the Reds. Kansas City wins it 8-1. Last but certainly not least, Webb City's Landon Fletcher announces his commitment to continue his baseball career at Missouri Southern. The 6'4" right-hander just finished his junior season with the Cardinals as he was named to second-team All-COC pitcher. And he will also join his other teammates in the likes of Cy Darnell, Kaylor Darnell, Walker Sweet, and Drew Vonderhaar, who committed earlier this year. So lots of familiarity on that roster, and soon enough we may have to start calling them the Missouri Southern Cardinals.
Yeah, it's good to see local talent stay local.
I love seeing that as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brock. Back with more after this. Stargazers have plenty to look forward to. The next full moon will happen tomorrow afternoon, and NASA officially says the moon will look full for 3 full days. This full moon will also be a supermoon and a blue moon. The moon, of course, won't be blue, but that's the name given to the 3rd full moon in a season with 4 full moons. The more you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How's the weather on the moon, Anthony?
There's no weather on the
Just
moon,
kidding.
Lindsay.
I'm just,
What's the weather like here?
The weather here is pretty good. We've got a few more rain showers continuing overnight into early morning hours on Monday. Then we have a drop in temperatures in the mid and upper 80s for the rest of the week.
And a final sports note.
Yeah, we've already covered a lot of high school teams in Missouri, and we'll still do those, but high school teams in Kansas start practice tomorrow, so we'll have coverage from all those teams throughout the week.
Perfect. Love to see it. From all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.